Good morning, everyone. Survivors, warriors, strength builders, thank you for being here today. I look around this room and I see something truly inspiring. I see people who have faced pain, who have endured struggles, who have walked through the fire of hardship. I see people who have scars that tell stories of battles fought, of challenges overcome, of resilience forged in the toughest moments. And I'm here to tell you something that's going to ignite your spirit. Your pain is your power. Your struggles are your strength. The hardships you faced are not here to break you. They're here to build you. Today we're going to talk about how you can transform your pain into power, how you can turn your struggles into strength, and how you can rise from the ashes of your challenges stronger, braver, and more unstoppable than ever before. Let's start with a simple truth. Pain is universal. Every single one of us has felt it, whether it's the pain of loss, the pain of failure, the pain of rejection, or the pain of feeling like you're not enough. Pain doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care about your age, your background, your dreams. It comes for us all. But here's the thing about pain. It's not your enemy. Pain is a teacher. Pain is a catalyst. Pain is the raw material you can use to build your strength, to shape your character, to fuel your journey. When you transform your pain into power, you don't just survive your struggles, you thrive through them. You don't just endure your hardships, you emerge from them as a force of nature. What does it mean to transform pain into power? It means refusing to let your struggles define you as a victim. It means looking at the hardships you face, the moments that brought you to your knees, and saying, I will rise. It means taking the raw, messy, painful experiences of your life and using them to fuel your growth, your resilience, your purpose. Transforming pain into power is about alchemy. It's about taking the lead of your struggles and turning it into the gold of your strength. It's about recognizing that every tear you've shed, every scar you carry, every battle you've fought has made you stronger, wiser, and more capable of achieving your dreams. And when you transform your pain into power, you don't just change your life, you become a beacon of hope for others. I want you to think about a time in your life when you faced deep pain. Maybe it was the time you lost a job you loved, and the financial struggle that followed felt like a weight you couldn't bear. Maybe it was the time you went through a heartbreak so intense that you thought you'd never love again. Maybe it was the time you battled a health issue, and the pain, both physical and emotional, made you question if you'd ever feel whole. Do you remember how it felt? Do you remember the darkness, the despair, the feeling of being broken? Now think about what happened when you transformed that pain into power. Did you let it destroy you, or did you use it to rebuild yourself? Did you stay in the darkness, or did you find a way to rise? Let me tell you a story about someone who transformed their pain into power, a woman named Malala Yousafzai. Malala was born in Pakistan, in a region where the Taliban banned girls from attending school. At the age of 11, she began speaking out for girls' education, writing a blog about her experiences. But in 2012, at the age of 15, Malala was targeted for her activism. A Taliban gunman boarded her school bus, shot her in the head, and left her for dead. The pain was unimaginable physically, emotionally, and mentally. She could have given up, let the fear and trauma define her, but Malala chose to transform her pain into power. She survived the attack, moved to the UK for treatment, and continued her fight for education. In 2014, at the age of 17, she became the youngest ever Nobel Peace Prize winner. Today, Malala is a global advocate for girls' rights, proving that her pain didn't break her, it made her a force for change. Why? Because Malala transformed her pain into power, because she turned her struggle into strength. Let's dive deeper into Malala's story, because there's so much we can learn from her journey. Imagine being Malala at 15, lying in a hospital bed, your life hanging by a thread, knowing that you were shot simply for wanting an education. Imagine the physical pain of a bullet wound, the emotional pain of being torn from your home, the mental pain of facing death threats even after surviving. And yet, Malala didn't let that pain define her. She'd wake up every day determined to heal, to speak, to fight. She'd write her story in a book, I Am Malala, sharing her pain with the world to inspire others. She'd stand on global stages, her voice steady, her resolve unshaken, advocating for millions of girls. And because she transformed her pain into power, She didn't just survive, she became a symbol of strength. She showed the world that pain can be the fuel for greatness when you refuse to let it break you. Now you might be thinking, that's an incredible story, but I'm no Malala. I don't have that kind of impact or courage. Let me stop you right there. You don't need to be Malala to transform your pain into power. You don't need a global platform or a Nobel Prize. Transforming pain into power is personal. It's about the struggles in your own life. Maybe your pain is the grief of losing a loved one, and your power is the way you honor their memory by living fully. Maybe your pain is the struggle of growing up in a tough environment, and your power is the way you've broken the cycle for your own family. Maybe your pain is the failure of a dream, and your power is the new path you've carved from the lessons you learned. Whatever it is, it's yours. And when you transform your pain into power, you turn your struggles into strength. I've seen the power of transforming pain into power in my own life. A few years ago, I went through a period of intense struggle. I had just started my career as a writer, but faced rejection after rejection from publishers. My dream of publishing a book felt like it was slipping away, and the pain of failure was crushing. I'd sit at my desk staring at rejection emails, feeling like I wasn't good enough, like I'd never make it. But I decided to transform that pain into power. I used every rejection as a lesson. I'd revise my work, improve my craft, and keep submitting. I channeled my frustration into determination, my hurt into hustle. And after 2 years of struggle, I finally got a yes. My book was published and it became a bestseller. Why? Because I transformed my pain into power. Because I turned my struggle into strength. Let's talk about why transforming pain into power matters. In a world that's full of challenges, transforming your pain into power is your greatest asset. It's what makes you resilient. It's what makes you. When you transform your pain into power, you give yourself permission to grow, to take the hardest moments of your life and use them to become stronger, wiser, more compassionate. You give yourself permission to live a life of purpose, of impact, of authenticity. And when you transform your pain into power, you inspire others to do the same. You show them that struggles don't have to break us, they can build us. You become a light in the darkness, a reminder that strength can come from the deepest pain. Let me tell you about another person who transformed their pain into power, a man named Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was a Jewish psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust, enduring unimaginable pain in Nazi concentration camps. He lost his parents, his wife, and his brother to the horrors of the camps. The physical pain of starvation, the emotional pain of loss, the mental pain of hopelessness. It was enough to break anyone, but Viktor chose to transform his pain into power. While in the camps, he found meaning in his suffering, helping fellow prisoners by offering them hope and purpose. After the war, he wrote Man's Search for Meaning, a book that detailed his experiences and his philosophy of finding meaning in pain. His work has inspired millions, showing that even in the darkest moments, we can find strength. Why? Because Viktor Frankl transformed his pain into power. Because he turned his struggle into strength. Let's dive deeper into Viktor's story, because there's so much we can learn from his journey. Imagine being Viktor Frankl in a concentration camp, surrounded by death, starvation, and despair, knowing that your family has been taken from you. Imagine the physical pain of forced labor, the emotional pain of grief, the mental pain of wondering if you'll survive another day. And yet Viktor didn't let that pain destroy him. He'd find moments of meaning, sharing a piece of bread with a fellow prisoner, imagining a future where he'd lecture about his experiences, holding on to the love he had for his wife in his heart. He'd write his thoughts on scraps of paper, determined to turn his pain into purpose. And because he transformed his pain into power, he didn't just survive the Holocaust. He became a beacon of hope for humanity. That's what it means to transform pain into power. That's what it means to turn struggle into strength. So how do you transform your pain into power? How do you turn your struggles into strength? Let me give you 3 practical steps to help you get started. Step 1, embrace your pain. Stop running from your struggles. Stop hiding from your hurt. Embrace your pain as a part of your story. Acknowledge the tears, the scars, the moments that broke you. Because when you embrace your pain, you take away its power to control you. You give yourself the power to transform it. You allow yourself to see your struggles not as weaknesses, but as the building blocks of your strength. Step 2, Find the lesson in your struggle. Every pain has a purpose. Every struggle has a lesson. So ask yourself, what is this pain teaching me? How is this struggle making me stronger? Maybe your pain is teaching you resilience, compassion, or gratitude. Maybe your struggle is showing you what you're truly capable of. When you find the lesson in your struggle, you turn your pain into a source of wisdom, a source of power that propels you forward. Step 3. Use your strength to lift others. The greatest power comes from using your pain to help others. So take the strength you've gained from your struggles and share it with the world. Be a source of hope for someone who's hurting. Be a guide for someone who's struggling. Be a light for someone who's in the dark. Because when you use your strength to lift others, you create a ripple effect of power, of healing, of transformation. Let me tell you about a woman I met named Priya, a single mother from Mumbai. Priya faced immense pain when her husband passed away unexpectedly, leaving her to raise her 2 children alone. She struggled with grief, financial hardship, and the fear of not being enough for her kids. Everyone told her she'd never make it on her own. But Priya decided to transform her pain into power. She embraced her pain. She allowed herself to grieve, to feel the loss, but refused to let it define her. She found the lesson in her struggle. She learned that she was stronger than she ever knew, capable of providing for her family. She used her strength to lift others. She started a small catering business, employing other single mothers, giving them jobs and hope. Today, Priya's business is thriving, and she's a pillar of her community. Why? Because Priya transformed her pain into power, because she turned her struggle into strength. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine a life where you've transformed your pain into power. Imagine waking up every day knowing that your struggles have made you stronger, that the hardest moments of your life have become the foundation of your greatness. Imagine the resilience you'll feel, the purpose you'll have, the lives you'll touch. Imagine looking back on your saying, my pain didn't break me, I transformed it into power, and I turned my struggles into strength. That life is not a dream, that life is yours for the taking. All you have to do is transform your pain. Let's take a moment to reflect. I want you to close your eyes for a second and think about a struggle you're facing right now. What is it? What's the pain that's weighing on your heart? Picture that struggle in your mind. Now, picture yourself transforming it, embracing the pain, finding the lesson, using your strength to rise. Picture the person you'll become, the resilience you'll feel, the power you'll claim, the life you'll live. How does that feel, that feeling? That's the power of transforming to power. That's what it means to turn your struggles into strength. Let me share one more story, a story about a man named Nick Vujicic. Nick was born without arms or legs, a condition called tetra amelia syndrome. Growing up, he faced pain, bullying, depression, and the feeling of being different in a world that didn't understand him. At the age of 10, he even attempted suicide, overwhelmed by his struggles. But Nick decided to transform his pain into power. He embraced his pain. He accepted his differences, refusing to let them define his worth. He found the lesson in his struggle. He realized that his story could inspire others to overcome their own challenges. He used his strength to lift others. He became a motivational speaker, traveling the world to share his message of hope. Today, Nick has inspired millions, showing that physical limitations can't stop a limitless spirit. Why? Because Nick transformed his pain into power, because he turned his struggle into strength. So today, I'm asking you to make a commitment to yourself, to your dreams, to the life you want to live. Commit to transforming your pain into power, no matter how deep it runs. Commit to turning your struggles into strength, no matter how hard they are. Commit to rising from your challenges, no matter who tries to hold you down. Because I promise you, when you transform your pain into power, you become unbreakable. You become a force of resilience. You become the person you were always meant to be. The world is waiting for you. Your strength is waiting for you. Your pain is waiting for you to transform it. So go out there, transform your pain into power, turn your struggles into strength, and watch how you become everything you were born to be. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Fearless Motivation.